Welcome back into A3 Late Night. This match started between the USA and Japan, and before you know it, Japan found the back of the net. Just 2 minutes into this, they go up 1-0. Darian, what happened? What was the breakdown defensively that happened for the United States?
Well, it started from a quick throw-in. I mean, it was early in the match, and you have to give a lot of credit to Japan. That was clearly something that they came in and said, "Hey, this is a new U.S. squad, still adapting to the principles Emma Hayes wants." The speed of play, a lot of those players just looked a lot sharper than U.S. players. So, comes from a throw-in. Japan bounces it around. It goes outside of the corner of the 18, and this beautiful ball is whipped in to Momiki, and she takes a cheeky touch. It makes Sonnet, who she comes from Sonnet's back shoulder, come late to pressure. Her and Jane Campbell collide. She cuts back and slots it for the opening goal. And it just set the tone, in my opinion, for the US the rest of the match. I don't think that they ever fully recovered from that because from that moment on, the US felt really hesitant playing out of the back. I don't think anybody was dying to get on the ball in the defensive or middle third for the United States. I mean, how many times was the second pass out of the middle of the pitch lost? I think more times than not, sadly, in this game. But Japan came out swinging when it all started from just a really quick, cheeky throw in.
Was it more Japan playing so well, Sandra, or US coming out a little flat? If you had to give the edge to one side of it, which would it be?
I'm absolutely going to praise Japan. I mean, they were the best team this
Have to.
entire tournament. Like it, not even in this final cup match with against United States, from match day 1 to 2 to 3, Japan, Japan, Japan. They are playing incredible football right now. They had Emma Hayes praising them in her pregame availability, saying yes that they want to win, but they have a deep respect for that team and they are playing incredible soccer that she herself loves to watch them play and perform. And so, yeah, I think there are some layers to the United States not having maybe that start that they wanted, or maybe even the response at certain times, especially when we saw just sort of the disjointedness and kind of the failed passing sequences between them. But you have to absolutely credit Japan with what they are putting together. And not only that, just how quickly they've been able to put it together since their Olympic performance last summer. It's a complete 180 almost at this point, and you have to wonder how much of it is on the coaching staff and how much of it is really just a credit to these players and a testament to their efforts to want to get better. I mean, we have seen more Japanese players going off and playing in different leagues around the world, whether it's Women's Super League or NWSL. I mean, Manaka's going to walk out of this tournament as the leading goal scorer, the Golden Boot winner, and we get to watch her week in and week out in NWSL play. So it is absolutely a testament to Japan and the team that they were in the moment when the USA went up against them in this cup final.
Japan was organized. They understood the assignment. They understood positioning so well. Their high press put the US under so much pressure, especially when you consider the back line for the United States in this match to start things out, because it was Crystal Dunn, Tara McKeown just getting her second start ever wearing a US kit, Emily Sonnet and Emily Fox. And one of the biggest question marks we've had and we've talked about, and Emma Hayes has even alluded to, is the left back position for the United States. And that's where this goal came from in the opening 2 minutes of the game. It was a bit of a mispass trying to build out of the back for the US. And it was Dunn who got the start over Jenna Nightswanger, who had been in that position before. Christine, when you think about the left back role, who solidifies that role after this match?
That's a big question, huh? Yeah, I was of the mindset going into this match that given the way that Japan play, that Crystal Dunn would be the more favorable choice just because while Nicewanger adds a lot to the attack, I think that she does need to cultivate a bit more defensively. And I think that this game has proven that it's kind of up for grabs. I think I would have preferred to have seen Tierna get a start here. She's equally experienced. I think that she probably could have added a bit more to the defense. But I think that that happens to be a position that the US definitely need to, if we're looking at this in terms of futures camps, et cetera, they need to look into that left back role because we don't have really a succession of lock in players for that role.
Sandra, what do you think about that? And not just Dunn and Nightswanger, but Christine mentioned Tierna Davidson getting a start. If she came in instead of Mickey Owen, how would have that changed things? Where do you see this left back position being?
I mean, I think it depends on how you want to start Turner Davidson in this type of game. Do you have her starting in that center back position, or do you even consider Davidson at the left back role? Listen, I remember going into the 2019 World Cup and coverage of that team, and how Turner Davidson was getting reps at that outside back position for club when she was with the formerly now known as Chicago Stars FC. That is how versatile Turner Davidson actually is. She thrives in that center back role, and I think throughout the ups and downs of maybe having to navigate injury, she has primarily been in that role. But I think people forget that she is someone who can actually kind of play in that position if needed. I don't know or think or believe that this is the game where we needed to see that happen. One of those objectives that Emma Hayes laid out was the fact that they need to desperately continue to develop their outside back. They need to have a full back pool to pull from. And when we did the preview for this game, I believe every single one of us started Crystal Dunn.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that rationality in picking Dunn over Neischwanger, I think says a lot more of maybe what we think about Neischwanger's current form. But then when we see the game in front of us where Crystal Dunn is getting this start, even though she had very limited minutes coming out of the Olympics, that she is over at the top of that left back position. I think it's a little bit bleak at this point. They really did their scouting. Japan absolutely did their scouting. They knew where those weaknesses were and how to attack them. And if it is that blatant to your opposition, I can promise it is definitely on the radar for the U.S. Women's National Team coaching staff. There has to be continued development in this area. I think that is something that was very, very glaring in this game.
Oof. Dee, what are your thoughts about this back line?
I actually had Neischwanger starting in this match. I thought, just based on it being preseason, Crystal's been playing with Paris Saint-Germain. I thought this is a great test for, everything that Emma Hayes, oh, I lost a headphone. Everything that Emma Hayes has said that she's wanted to do, which is give these younger players a lot of experience. And what a better time to throw Jenna Neischwanger into the fire against Japan, where every team that goes and plays against the United States is looking to attack the left side. That has just been the theme. It was the theme during the Olympics. It's the theme now during all of the friendlies, and now during the SheBelieves Cup. I like that Jenna came in. I actually think when she came in, she brought a lot of energy. She had some good tackles. She had some good clearances in the left back position, and her service is undeniable in the attacking third. I'm not worried about that position. I think it's going to develop. I think the move to Arsenal is great for her. I think that's fine. We have to give all the credit in the world to Japan. I think that they were a force to be reckoned with. They were formidable in this match. Emily Fox also didn't have the best game. One of the goals came from her side not tracking a marker. They also combined around her side a lot. There's a player, I need to go through my notes. I'm kind of all over the place right now, but that they 1-2'd around her, dribbled into the 6, and just missed the frame of the goal.
Yep.
They attacked the US's back line like Swiss cheese, y'all. Like they came out, Sandra, you're right, scouted so well, knew exactly how to break them down. Their lines were super tight. They regained the ball. I think it shocked the US building out. They looked nervous. When you're nervous in a game and everybody's making mistakes and you just don't want to be on the ball, so you hide a little bit, you back up. That's the energy it started to give once Japan scored the initial goal and then kept pressing. It just looked suffocating to the US.
We have not seen the US defend for this amount of time in a game in a very, very, very long time. They were chasing Japan. They got caught behind the ball, and Japanese team did a very good job of switching the point of attack and then bringing it back to the other side, moving so quickly off the ball for each other, creating numerical overloads with this constant movement. And so often the US was just caught ball watching or tracking, being 1 or 2 steps behind of this Japanese side. But it wasn't all crazy chaos, because I about 10, 15 minutes into this game, 10 minutes in, the US realized they were going to have to play like 3 times the speed. Like, when you're listening to a podcast and you just keep going, can I listen faster? That's what the US decided to do. And they were going to take 1-2 touches, do big switches of the ball. Yasmin Ryan actually got on the ball at one point and involved herself in the play defensively to take over, and then finding Heaps in a moment, sprinting forward. Yasmin Ryan inserted herself into this game and said, I'm going to get involved, when you're exactly right, Darian. There were so many other times players were shying away from it, not wanting to be involved. But ultimately, we got a goal in the 14th minute. Ali Sentnor, the young player for the U.S. women's national team, gets the equalizing goal in her first 2 starts, D. Now, she's got 2 goals for the U.S. Did it come from nothing, or did you feel the buildup coming for the U.S.?
Oh no, I felt the buildup. She is so great because we have not seen her full potential. I mean, this girl comes into full national team camp, gets her first start, scores a banger from distance. And then you see her in this game reading the play, watching Lily Johannes make this ball to Macario, who has a great hold up. She rolls her defender. And if you watch Ali Sentnor's run, she times it perfectly to just go right behind the center back shoulder. It's a perfectly weighted pass, but the key point here is her touch. She takes just a long enough touch, draws out the keeper a little bit, and as a forward, you're told as soon as the keeper takes a couple steps out, that's when you shoot, because they're off balance, they're not set and ready to make a save either way. And her placement was great. She has so much finesse. She's not just a power striker. I love it. I just think she has so many tools in her toolkit, and we're slowly seeing them come out. The more minutes she gets, just give her 30 minutes and she's going to do something that we don't know what she's going to do, but it's going to be incredibly impressive. And it all comes from her timing, adapting to what this team is asking of her. She always looks hungry to score. She looks like she's confident in front of goal. And I think a lot of players that are in the national team right now in that position, outside of camp or in camp, need to take notes of how she's playing, because she looks like she knows she deserves to be there, and scoring a second goal proves it.
How much of a lift does it give Sentnor that she played alongside Macario above Heaps, Johannes, and Coffee for the second time? You guys are all nodding your heads.
Someone else can go. I feel like I'm yapping.
I mean, it was a great response. Like, look, they went down so early to the point you're like, surely this was the stuff that you want to see what these less cap players are made of, and they did respond. They got an equalizer in the 14th minute. It didn't take them long to try it and build up towards something. They made the adjustment. They had the recognition very quickly, where you have to play much quicker. And so here comes the goal. But I think it is significant that it comes from this sort of front six. I think for me, that was my first impression or first takeaway from seeing that starting 11, that I was very much here for these front six type of players that we saw in game 1. Because if you look over the course of the 3 matches and you have to pick a starting lineup that you want to go with in the cup final, of the 2 that we saw, maybe you're going to go with that first one. And I was happy to see that. So to see this continuity happen and go forth again between Macario, between Sentnor, I think it's very telling. It's what you want to see, I think, as the coaching staff, because there's very limited opportunities to develop that type of chemistry and to see it continue to bud and build over. And we got to see that in match 1 and in match 3.
Is that the partnership you like, Sandra? Is that what
I do
you
like that dualship for sure. I don't know if there's enough there to, knock off any cornerstone players, because I mean, not only did they go up against this incredible Japan side, but there's no triple espresso, man. Like, there's no Naomi Girma. What does this game even look like if even you just have Girma in the mix of all of this to help organize things, to help supplement Jane Campbell, who's getting starts in net now all of a sudden? Like, significant. It would be so significant, but that's not the case. That's not what was available for this tournament. And for what was given, you have to look in front of you. And yes, 100%. Sentnor, Macario, I enjoyed it very much during She Believes.
Sandra, you kind of sound like some of the people with us on YouTube before this even started. They were like, if Triple Espresso was here, they would have done this, they would have done that. Guys, we didn't have them.
Yeah.
We didn't
We
have
don't know.
them to choose
Coulda, coulda,
from, and
woulda,
that
don't.
is the whole point Emma Hayes is making. She needs depth. She needs people that she can plug and play when Triple Espresso is not there. Same goes across the back line, across the midfield too. She's looking for depth, and that's what this tournament, that's what this game was specifically determined to do. Find out who can be the best number 2 to sub in for Sophia Wilson when she needs a break, when she's unavailable for camp. The U.S. had good moments, some good transition to end that first 45 minutes. I think it was Kat Macario just before the halftime whistle blew. Her shot was like inches wide, just
I wanted to
barely.
take that herself, though.
I know.
I wanted
I
Yasmin to be selfish. Just shoot it yourself.
I thought
Score
she
your
was going
goal.
to. Honestly, the way that her body was positioned, I was like,
Ah,
she's going for it, man. It was like 3v1 and Cat just alongside and girl, rip it.
We got some rips from Yaz Ryan in the second half, guys. Don't worry. They came ultimately. It was tied up after 45.